What up, everybody? Yo, Spetsnaz, thank you for the alert, man. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I appreciate all of the support. So I've got a couple of, I've got a few videos, YouTube videos that I want to watch and react to, today. I've got a bunch of them. I don't know if I'm going to do all of them, but I'm going to do a few of them. I'm going to watch a few of them and react to a few of them. It's going to be a good time, I'm thinking. So let's get over here and we will pause this. Pause. Alright. Hold up. Okay. So. Okay. So we'll go ahead and get into the Alright, will cannabis be legal in the US in 2023? And then it says already 99.3% legal. So let's see here.
Know it yet, but Donald Trump basically legalized weed when he signed the 2018 Farm Bill into law back in December of 2018. Don't worry, he didn't get it at
Hold on, what did that say?
the time either. That's just 2018.
President Trump signed the Farm Bill into law on December 20th, 2018, and the U.S. Department of Agriculture (USDA) promptly began implementing key programs. In addition, USDA held several listening sessions with stakeholders and the public, specific to each agency's respective mission areas. Okay, what was? I wonder what the
Don't
details.
worry,
We'll
he didn't
look
get it
that
at the
up in
time
chat.
either. That's just because most people don't understand how cannabis works, let alone our conflicting federal laws on the subject. 2018 changed the definition of marijuana into two completely different legal materials. One, marijuana has 0.3% delta-9 THC or more, while all other cannabis and cannabis products with less than 0.3% delta-9 THC is legally hemp under federal law. In this video, you will learn why that small distinction between marijuana and hemp resulted in over 99% of all cannabis being legalized federally. And if you stick around until the end of this video, you will learn about THCA flower and what company selling it directly to consumers as hemp in states that do not have a medical program.
I have a feeling he's talking about Delta 8, all the Delta 8 stuff.
And there is no reason why you can't do it too. Both marijuana
And it's because Delta 8 THC is taken out of the hemp plant, and it's got less than 0.3% of Delta 9 THC. But I think they actually outlawed it. They outlawed it here in Arkansas. You can't buy or sell Delta 8 anymore.
and hemp
Which it kind of sucks because I liked Delta 8 and it was good for a pinch, you know?
are legal terms of art under federal law. What is a legal term of art? It means that marijuana and hemp are both definitionals under federal law. There are statutes out there that says what marijuana or hemp is. One of them is the Controlled Substances Act of 1970 that says cannabis is marijuana, but it's actually spelled and pronounced with an H and not a J. The CSA says cannabis is a Schedule I drug, legally the same as heroin.
See, that is ridiculous, because it's definitely not the same. It's not even addictive.
I'm a little bit taken aback.
You can't even make this stuff up, right? Isn't that just so messed up? And that was just how
It's fucking bizarre. It really is.
it was for all the years from 1970 until 2018 when the Farm Bill defined what is hemp, because it amended the definition of hemp under the Agricultural Marketing Act of 1946 to include it. Under federal law, hemp is now defined as follows. The term hemp means the plant Cannabis sativa L, and any part of that plant, including the seeds thereof, and all derivatives, extracts, cannabinoids, isomers, acids, salts, and salts of isomers, whether growing or not, with a delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol concentration of not more than 0.3% on a dry weight basis. So now cannabis is like 99.3% completely legal.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
The only part of the cannabis plant that would
It's just the THC it's just the THCA that's illegal.
test hot is poorly kept cannabis flowers. Do you know why that is? Because cannabis doesn't even make delta-9 THC. That's the main idea here. The plant does not actually make delta-9 THC. It makes tetrahydrocannabinolic acid, THCA.
It's not delta. I think it turns into delta-9 THC when it's heated up.
Lots of the cannabis that you buy at your
It's got to be like activated.
local dispensary is so well taken care of during cultivation, harvest, cure, and testing that it literally qualifies as hemp. More on that later. Back in 2019, people were just not ready for that yet. Despite this video that we did, it was one of our first, way back from 2019, when we talked about THCA flower. However, as that hemp flower is exposed to elements, some of the THCA degrades into that dastardly delta-9 THC, and a magic metamorphosis of law happens. The same thing would happen if you get it too close to a flame. The acid decarboxylizes and becomes a psychoactive delta-9 version of THC. But people were not ready to risk such boldness in 2019. Hemp's legalization had different levels, you see. Do you know what the first big breakout was in hemp after the definitional change in 2018? Cannabis seeds. They're all legal now because of how much delta-9 THC is present in a seed for either hemp or marijuana. How much?
Shit.
Zero. None. It's under the 0.3% delta-9 THC by dry weight basis threshold, and therefore, as a matter of law, it is not a controlled substance, but instead perfectly legal hemp. In 2019, seeds were ready to be called hemp. Why? Because the only part of the cannabis plant that makes THC that could become delta-9 THC are the female flowers. The seeds have nothing that can make it marijuana under federal law. As a result, it is outside of the Controlled Substances Act and perfectly legal. Websites started popping up, selling.
It's the same way with mushroom spores. All mushroom spores are legal, even if they're the magic kind or whatever. They're still legal. They're not illegal to sell, buy, or trade for microscopic use.
Seeds. Many got
It's only illegal whenever it fruits into a psychoactive mushroom. Same with marijuana.
shut down, but today they are all operating legally as far as the federal law is concerned. Then, by 2020, people started realizing that clones and plants and vegetative growth are also hemp because they contain zero delta-9 THC and therefore are legally hemp under federal law. So you started seeing not only seeds for sale on the internet, but also clones for sale that would be mailed directly to consumers. And they did not even have to use that novelty use only BS that never really worked. What worked was having hemp removed from being a Schedule I substance. so that it is just a
Right.
normal legal thing. So you can see what's happened. The plant became basically legal, except for one chemical that the plant doesn't even make. However, most hemp has CBD
This
in
is actually
far
good
greater
to know.
numbers than THC, and the price of this CBD flower fell in 2020. And that's when the all derivatives, extracts, cannabinoids, isomers, acids, salts, and salts of isomers hemp explosion started. The CBD extract could be isomerized to form THC, like Delta 8 or Delta 9. The definition of hemp under the statute says all derivatives, extracts, cannabinoids, isomers, acids, salts, and salts of isomers from the cannabis plant are hemp, so long as it is Delta 9 THC compliant. So companies started Delta 8 vape businesses. They registered
Right.
trademarks to protect their brand, which resulted in lawsuits, as it does from time to time. But no court had yet said that all of this was legal. That changed with a lawsuit about Delta 8's legality. The AK Futures LLC versus Boyd Street Distro LLC case was decided by the United States Court of Appeals in the Ninth Circuit in May of 2022. In the case, a producer of Delta 8 THC products sued Boyd Street Distro LLC, competitor, for trademark and copyright infringement. Boyd Street Distro argued that the Delta 8 THC products at issue were illegal under federal law, and therefore AK Futures could not obtain trademark protection for them. This is a classic defense of saying what the other party is doing is illegal, so they can't enforce it. The Ninth Circuit rejected Boyd Street Distro's argument, holding that the Delta 8 THC products are indeed lawful under the 2018 Farm Bill and therefore eligible for trademark protection, unlike marijuana trademarks. The court reasoned that the Farm Act specifically exempted Delta 8 THC from the definition of marijuana under the Controlled Substances Act, and that exemption from the law allowed trademark protection. About the same time as this, edibles got into the act. You see, if you have a gummy bear that weighs 4 grams, that's 4,000 milligrams, so you can find out what a 0.3% dry weight basis of that gummy bear is, and you get 12 milligrams, which is actually 2 milligrams over the state's requirements for potency in edibles. In my state of Illinois, each serving has to be 10 milligrams or less, which is really weird, that a licensed THC business has a higher standard than a federally legal gummy bear that qualifies as hemp. So the new definition of hemp from the 2018 Farm Bill did not just legalize most of the cannabis plant, it also legalized cannabis edibles so long as they do not have more than a 0.3% THC by dry weight basis. Once again, this is what
Right.
happens when people that are making the rules have no idea
They still sell the shit out of those edibles here too because they're not Delta 8. They're uh, CBD.
what they are doing. Lawmakers, before you pass another weed law, will you please get some frickin' personal knowledge on the thing you are regulating? And now here we are in 2023, cannabis seeds.
They have no personal knowledge over the shit they're regulating. Like honestly, they don't look into it. They just know that it affects you in a psychoactive manner, and they make it illegal.
Clones and Delta 8 are everywhere. The industry is melting down in open market states, leaking their cannabis into illegal states. Congress is doing absolutely nothing to help because they would rather tell you what upsets the other side's base or agree with whatever PAC is writing their big fat checks for re-election. So what's a cannabis company to do? I'll tell you what, THCA flower directly to the consumer. You basically get your dank weed, testing it so it is less than 0.3% Delta 9 THC, market as hemp, which is not a controlled substance, and the 2018 Farm Bill has explicit protections against interference with interstate commerce in the newly legal hemp market. Do you know what company is embracing this gray area in the legal cannabis industry? Cookies. They have started a direct-to-consumer THCA hemp flower business for all their popular strains, like Glue, Laughing Gas, Apples and Bananas, and even Burn Scotty. For $55 an eighth, you can get their hemp flower, but they're only shipping to states like Alabama, Alaska, Colorado, Maryland, Nevada, New Hampshire, New York, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas, Vermont, West Virginia, and Wyoming, where it is still completely illegal. So, where do we go from here? Hopefully, Congress will actually do its job and legalize all of the cannabis plant so we don't have to have this insanity.
I mean, they should, honestly. I mean, we have enough states that want it to be legal in some form, where they should just make it federally legal in some way at this point. It's ridiculous that they haven't already done it.
A law that makes no sense. It criminalizes the plant. It is over a
Yeah.
line in the sand that was completely made up. It taxes state licensed operators, so it's very difficult for them to operate profitably. It opens the door for online cannabis flower and edibles without regulation. Maybe it'll take the Supreme Court to invalidate the Controlled Substances Act's treatment of cannabis as a Schedule I drug. That's exactly what happened in the 1937 Marijuana Tax Stamp Act that had made it illegal for the 32 years from 1937 to 1969. We'll see. I'm Tom, the cannabis industry lawyer. You can catch me here on Cannabis Legalization News and over at my law blog, Cannabis Industry Lawyer. Tune into Cannabis Legalization News on Sunday and see what progress is going on at your state and also the federal level. If this is the kind of info you like to watch and you're trying to get into the cannabis industry and watch legalization happen to witness all this history and stuff, smash that like button, click subscribe, and then leave us a comment. The algorithm will appreciate it, and so will we.
Alright. That was fucking good. So that's awesome. So I didn't know, I learned something. I knew about the Delta 8 and all of that, but I did not know that seeds were legal. So marijuana seeds are completely legal. That's crazy. So that is actually like really good information to know. Not only because you can make money off of that, but because it's like I know they try and use marijuana seeds all the time. When like they'll look for it, shit. When you get pulled over in certain places, they will actively look to see if there's like any seeds or anything like that to try and say that you've been smoking marijuana or blah blah blah. It's ridiculous, but whatever. It's good to know the laws though for situations like that. Anyways, and that was a good video. I like that. I'm gonna keep up. I'm gonna definitely keep up with that, guys. Videos stuff.